Hello, all you drama enthusiasts. Welcome to the meeting. This is Angie's Drama Room, and I am your meeting host, Angie. And today we are going to talk about two dramas. One is a Korean drama and one is a Chinese drama. And the reason why I'm putting both of them together is because they have the same plot line. Right. So this one would be the Chinese drama is called Dream Within a Dream versus the Korean drama, The First Night with the Duke. So I have yet to finish completely watch them. And I realize, of course, these are the same type of dramas. So they are considered to be historical, comedy, fantasy, romance dramas, right? Yes, all those things into one. So with Dream Within a Dream, it's about a actor and actress, right? So it's coming off of our male lead here, Lu Ying Ning, who came off of The Prisoner of Beauty. I wish they did not push this one as fast as they did after The Prisoner of Beauty. Still let us kind of melt into that one, right? That's just warm up ourselves within in that one. But no, they went ahead and pushed this one through because it's a totally different concept, totally different. It's a comedy. So it wasn't, and it's still used. The one of the generals that were in The Prison of Beauty was the one of his generals that was in the fictional time period drama that he was acting in. And then, of course, he was in there. And then one of the scenes they did was almost exactly the same scene that was in Prisoner of Beauty. So I kind of wish they didn't push it so fast, but here we are. And then the female lead is Lee Ying Tong. So I'm not too familiar with her. I saw shows that she was in, but I'm not too familiar with her itself. So with Dream Within a Dream, it's about a again actor and actress who in modern time, right, contemporary modern time actor and actress, and it was a script, a historical script that was kind of sensationalized, almost like soap opera-ish type of thing. No rhyme or reason, a crazy plotted story, and she thought it was kind of crazy, but I think she was not what you would call a level actress, but he was, which was kind of interesting. But they kind of, I guess they put her together because she seemed like when she went to the table read, there was no, she didn't have any management team except for her assistant that they, I guess she either got herself or I don't know. And so when she left, she had to catch a bus. So she didn't have a manager's van take her where she was. She didn't have no fans hoarding her or anything like that. So she went home with the script because she said it was just too much because it was supposed to be a love triangle, and she thought it was just too much because it was crazy in the beginning. It was comedy. It was crazy. It was what it was. So she went home and she started reading certain excerpts of the script, certain episodes and things. And she just thought it was just so wild and far fetched. Cannot be happening. She feels like this could have been much more better. And then storm hits, and it kind of rushed it so fast that it really didn't get you into the moment of the fantasy going down that wormhole. But however, the storm hits, she tries to go close her window, and then next thing you know, she falls back, and then it was like a special effects that shows her going through the different scenes, and then all of a sudden she lands into the bed of when she's in the historical costume drama series. And she wakes up, she realizes what she was doing. And then her maid servants comes rushing in and says, okay, you got to come and get married. So she's thinking in the story, she was supposed to be marrying our male lead here, which the male lead was a tyrant in the actual script itself. But the script called for her to marry him anyway. And so she neglected her family in order to marry the historical male lead, which would have been Lu Ying Ning. And so she said, well, I'm going to change the script. I'm going to see what if I marry the actual person that my father wanted me to marry and not run off and marry this man. So that's what it was. So when the maid servants came in, she was actually supposed to be marrying the one that the father wanted her to marry. And so she's trying to find her way to get married to him, but each time she tried to find a way, an accident happens and her life ends at that point, but then she time loops back to the original spot of when she woke up and about to ready to get married. So now she's detouring each and every time loop, trying, because each time she finds a way to revive herself. So she tries to find a way not to avoid her death. And then at the end, then she did end up almost marrying him. She was this close, but then something happened. I can't remember what it was, that she did end up ending her life at that point. But when she time looped this time back, is 6 months before she was supposed to even get married. Period. I have yet to finish. This was only, I believe, going into the second episode. So this is where I am now, because I think they're only airing 2 episodes a day. So I haven't had a bunch of episodes ahead of time before I started watching it. So it just started airing. And so now I'm going into the third and fourth episode. Now that there's not much more for me to watch, I probably will continue to watch Dream Within a Dream, because it actually is pretty good. I'm actually watching another story series, but I'll save that for later. So this one now is versus the First Night with the Duke. This is the Korean version of time looping back into a. Now this one's looping back into a web novel. The other one was a actual series that she looped back. She went into. So the First Night with the Duke is when she looped back into an actual web novel. She was a university student, and it's kind of funny that she didn't even have a name in today, in present time. They didn't even give her a name. I think they called her, if I was reading it right, maybe she did, I don't remember, but she was called the University Student K. Yeah. So I don't know. And so she didn't even have the name in the modern time. And so they called her being a lonely woman, a young lady in a university. She was secluded. She wrapped herself around web novels, romantic web, historical web novels, and fantasizing herself within these novels as being it, which we all do, right? That's the reason why I watch K-dramas, to fantasize ourselves as the female lead or whatever we wanted to be, and whatever. Hey, okay, I work with you on that. So this one was kind of interesting how she. So this one was kind of interesting how she got into the web novel. I can't remember exactly anymore. That's kind of where it was. I don't know if it was a storm or something happened. She fell asleep, and somehow I think she fell asleep, and somehow she got into the books of the web novel. And when she woke up, she was in her home, where she was a elite. She was a socialite. So her family was a wealthy socialite family. And so when she went into the book, that's how where she was, and she realized, of course, where she was and what she was doing, and she she was like, oh, where am I at? But yeah, so, and she just kind of accepted it at this point, and she had three brothers who were quirky and weird, chaotic type brothers, right? And so each one of the brothers did like their younger sister here. So the father told her it was time for her to get married. Now, at this point, we still don't know what type of character she played in this novel. And so now, come to find out, she wasn't even the first supporting lead. She was like the extra in the background type of person. I'm like, so she goes into the garment shop, dress shop, to get her wedding dress, where she meets the supporting lead woman, and she was high ranking than her. And so her maid was like, what are you doing? You higher than her. Why are you taking what she's saying? Why are you doing it? She's like, look, I'm just trying to stand in the background. And so with the actual female lead in the story, she was an orphan, but then she supposedly had caught the eye of the Duke. That was actually in the novel. Okay, so she was the actual female lead was supposed to catch the eye of the Duke, and they were supposed to be together. That's how the story was supposed to be, which is basically the same plot line that you normally would get. So then she ended up somehow. I haven't even gotten that far, because I thought it was just a weird story itself. And somehow, I supposedly, she ended up having a one night stand with the Duke. And from that point on, the Duke, instead of pursuing the actual female lead in the story, wanted to start pursuing her. And so she ended up trying to detour him by doing some crazy stunts, trying to make him not like her anyway. So that way she can go back to the actual female lead in the web novel. But what I thought was kind of interesting, just the plot itself, I didn't care too much for, was the fact that she is a extra in a story, high elite woman, socialite with family with money, and she they had her where of course she goes into the story and steals the Duke away from the actual female lead who was an orphan, which kind of was the twist on that storyline. Because remember, usually it's the course it's the orphan or the least lack of low income person who the actual male lead likes, and the rich woman is usually the one who wants the Duke. But in this storyline, she didn't want the Duke, but somehow she ends up being with the Duke and steals the Duke away from the actual female lead. I thought that was kind of weird. I know they trying to make a twist on it. Why can't she find love too, even though she was rich? Hey, I get it, but I think they could have, and for her to only be an extra in the story, she was just a side extra in the story. I thought it was kind of weird. That's just me. But maybe the story did evolve a little bit better. Maybe it did have somewhere where maybe the orphan, the female lead, did find love at another junction, or maybe she wanted to be in love with somebody else. And so, what also with this story was, it was also a play off the contemporary drama Extraordinary You, I believe is the name of that one. So it's the same concept. It's just this one is just historical, and the other one was contemporary. If I continue to watch any one of these, I will continue to give you my point of view on it and how it ended and how it went, and maybe go through a halfway mark or wherever I may have stopped. I'll let you know my actual opinion on actually finishing watching these stories. And thank you for watching this episode. And I appreciate every subscription I have gotten. If you have not already, please hit that like subscription button. I appreciate all the subscriptions I have been getting lately. Also, hit the like button, and I appreciate it. And leave a comment. Tell me what you think about these two shows. Thank you for watching. Meeting adjourned.